Hello and welcome, PPL fans. I'm your host, King L5, and I'm joined today once again by Lux for Game of the Week.
Hello.
Now, week one kind of snuck up on us a little bit, so we never actually got around to doing Game of the Week preview for that. But here we are for week two. We already did power rankings for the post-draft, and if you wanted to check that out, go ahead. But we're here for week two, Game of the Week. And for this, we decided to go with Onesie versus Dawn Fanatic.
Yeah, so Onesie and Dawn Fanatic, they're both good friends of each other. And something to mention as well, Dawn Fanatic used to be the original owner of the PPL League. So he's back now playing Pokemon Draft League. So obviously we had to spotlight him as our first game of the week for that reason.
Of course. Yeah. This Lux guy, big Dawn fan. You know what I'm saying? Anyways,
Absolutely.
so let's dive right into this matchup, right? What makes it so interesting? Well, both teams kind of do have some defensive pieces that are hard to get through, and they have some pretty good offensive pieces as well. So, like, it seems pretty even from my perspective. Anyways, how is this going to go down? All right, so major threats. What do we have here? We have the Urshifu Rapid on Onesie's side. This guy is a huge threat. Like, look at close combat versus that team. The only real fighting resists are Gardevoir and the Iron Moth, which I don't know if you are aware, get kind of blown up by the water stab.
Mm-hmm.
And
Another mon that's really good, in my opinion, on Onesie's team is the Zapdos. Obviously, Zapdos in rain is very scary, but flying and electric stabs are very strong against Dawn Fanatic's team. Only real switch in is Regieleki, and it's not great here.
yeah,
Gastrodon's also there, but Gastrodon's also very pressured to deal with other things.
yeah, so we kind of came to the conclusion that Gastrodon will either be mixed defense or like physical defense because that Urshifu is so threatening. That being said, it can opt to just run Trailblaze. So maybe in your mind you're like, well, if he has Trailblaze, he has Trailblaze. You know, I'm not beating that anyways. May as well go Spadef to help versus Golduck and Zapdos. So I guess maybe you could run Spadef plus maybe Fizdef Shaman or something.
Yep.
Or maybe the Shaman's just max speed to outspeed it and then max HP, you know. There's options here. But yeah, that Urshifu Rapid and Zapdos offensive combo is just super threatening, especially under rain. You're never going to miss Hurricane.
Yeah, exactly. And something else that's nice for Onesie as well is that the Shaman can't recover very easily since Synthesis is obviously like 25% in rain. So
yeah, you could be looking at Rest plus Natural Cure being
exactly
more favorable here.
Yeah. So, which, granted, is a lot less consistent just because you can't just click it and then immediately go back to dishing out hits with the Shaman, which is a pretty decent mod in this matchup, but obviously due to the aspect of rain being a lot of water types. So,
yeah, unfortunately that does mean you have to take a little bit of a commercial break there.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, Shaman is excellent offensively. Maybe not excellent offensively. There is still a Zapdos
it's
right
like
there.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, it's
right?
good. It's good.
Yeah.
All right. So
and a mon that is excellent this matchup is Kyurem, I would say.
100%. I was just about to say. This guy kills everybody. The only caveat, it's slower than a lot of these guys. So we're going to see how they can really handle that dynamic. Because if Kyurem ever gets a free turn, something is probably going to die to freeze try, right? It's such a free click, nothing resists it. And the only things that want to come in on it necessarily are like AV or Chaladon, which is not going to be a long-term solution, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that Kyurem is a major threat. Another major threat.
Obviously,
right. Go ahead.
I think it is a major threat, yeah. But something I also wanted to mention is something we kind of touched upon during our power rankings video, and that is that we have both our Shifus here, and I think we both prefer the water Shifu this gen over the dark Shifu. And obviously, dark Shifu has more notoriety, but it's going to be interesting to see how each of them will fare in this respective matchup.
Basically, we're based because we have the
Yeah.
contrarian opinion. So the main thing, in my opinion, is Urshifu Rapid is just simply better value. Like, Urshifu Dark, that guy is usually one of the most expensive mons in any draft league, whereas Urshifu is hovering a few points underneath. I feel like, really, I mean, when I'm playing against them, Urshifu Rapid is the scary one, I'll be honest. That's just me,
I
though.
would agree.
That's just me. Alright, so what else can we do for this matchup, right? The Urshifu Dark is also a big threat, right? Sucker Punch is great for the Basque Legion, you know, just in general. Like,
Wicked Blow is also just very strong.
yeah, whereas on Onesi's side, it's the close combat that we're scared of. On this side, we're looking at the Wicked Blow. The Dark Resists are like very lacking. It's just Whimsicott, which is
It's just
very
Whimsicott for
poverty.
the opposing Urshifu.
Yeah, very
well.
poverty.
Yep.
Alright, so what's... Is there anything else we wanted to say? Alright, so Onesi's defensive pieces, right? Clodsire,
Yeah.
you have your Politoed and Archaludon, and I guess Zapdos can also fit into that. Maybe Whimsicott if you bring it. These are like the defensive pieces that can kind of slow down the Urshifu, slow down the Gardevoir, the Shaman.
Yeah. Kind of to cure him a little bit, but...
Yeah, the Kyurem's going to be a tricky one. We'll have to see how they decide to approach that prep.
Exactly.
Very scary.
Yeah, but I think something that will also be very important here is the hazard game, obviously, since Clodzire's spikes look very strong against Dawn Fnatic's team, but in return, hazards also look very strong against Onesi's team. And Talonflame, I don't think either of us think it looks amazing here. It looks okay, but I guess it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah,
but you probably don't want to fit
defog
defog on it.
Yeah. I feel like if you're bringing it, it would be for defog, though. No?
Yeah.
That's like the main draw for it. Unless you wanted to bring like Choice Banded, which also could be a potential Gastrodon breaker. Like, basically, once Gastrodon falls, I feel like this game gets so much easier. So just having a few techs to like kind of lure it into a false sense of security. Like, oh, Gastrodon beats Talonflame, but all of a sudden it doesn't. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Another thing you could do, you could just Swords Dance up and then just Brave Bird, do 80%. Now the Gastro's out of commission in exchange for your Talonflame. Like, that's honestly not a bad trade. Yeah, stuff like that. Alright, so is there anything you wanted to say before we get into like what 6 we think they're gonna bring?
I was just gonna say that the Corviknight's probably the most like reliable hazard remover this matchup, but I also don't love it here personally, mainly because of like Electroshot or Caledon and then like the Zapdos as well. Gets baited in really easily through Ogerpon, so.
Yeah. So I think on Dawn Fnatic's side, the Urshifu, Gastrodon, Shaman, Kyurem, and probably the Gardevoir are definitely coming. Like, those mons all look so excellent in this matchup. Now, the only thing is that 6th slot, I don't think it's going to be the Iron Moth. That mon, very tragic this matchup, I'm not gonna lie. So it's between Kleavor and Corviknight for me. Corviknight, if you wanted to play more so like remove the Clodsire hazards and just kind of like wall the Ogerpon grass maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do that much, but it can do a little bit. And then the other side of the coin would be Kleavor, which maybe I'm thinking a Sash lead set with you know, the rock move Stone Axe.
Yeah, I think the only thing that can really stand in the way of that is potential Urshifu lead and it clicking Searching Strikes, which could be annoying, but I don't think that's too likely. And something like U-turn might be more likely to be clicked to like turn 1. So
yeah, I don't know if you would necessarily risk that, but that is definitely a downside.
Yeah.
So if you did want to go that route, though, you would definitely want to run heavy duty boots on Gastrodon, Shaman, and Kyurem at the very least. Just because spikes are so strong, and if spikes go up and you have to like switch into those hazards and take these really strong water boosted hits, It's not going
You
to
are
go
going
well.
to be in
Yeah,
for a
you're
lot of
cooked.
trouble, yeah.
Absolutely cooked.
So, what do we think from Onesie's side is coming?
Me personally, I just bring top 6. I think all those mons are good in the matchup. The only thing would be Talonflame and Whimsicott I think are bringable. And then Basket Legion's bringable, I guess. But you do kind of take away major pieces if you wanted to bring them. Like, I don't think it would be necessarily worth it for all of those. Maybe one of the 3, but definitely not multiple, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the top 6 for Onesie's team is just so strong into this matchup that there's no real reason to bring multiple of the other mons. Like, as you said, one of them can definitely be substituted out, maybe to catch his opponent off guard, but I think top 6 is probably the brings.
Yeah, sometimes the basic answer is just the right one.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing in my head is like maybe you could swap grass types and bring Whim over the Ogerpon, but that just seems so silly, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. It seems very silly.
The only upside is it can switch into Urshifu stabs, which like, okay, sure, right? But
Yeah,
on the other
it can
side,
switch in until Poison Jab is clicked once.
yeah, on the other side that
The
is
issue.
an Ogerpon. Like you do just definitely
Yeah,
want to bring that, right?
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, the other pieces seem so necessary.
I will
Maybe,
also say, without the Basque Legion and without the Golduck, the Gardevoir, while still strong, obviously, can be less potent just because you can't trace the Swift Swim either, which, if you don't run Scarf, could be an issue, versus like Urshifu, Ogerpon, and Zapdos, and Arcaludon too, because they now all outspeed.
yeah, hold on, give me 1 second. I'm about to cook here. What if the Politoed is left at home?
Yo, wait.
Think about it, right? Urshifu is spamming the fighting move, not the water move. Archaludon
Yeah,
doesn't really
yeah.
need Electro Shot. You can run T-Bolt to get through Core or Iron Defense Body Press, probably even better.
Yeah.
So in that case, the rain is only really helping Zapdos hit Hurricane. In which case, I mean, is that really worth an entire Mon slot? You may prefer to bring Talonflame in that situation. And then you have your Fire Stab not being weakened. And Talonflame offensively is pretty nice here, so maybe that would be the play.
I could definitely
The
see it.
team built 100% around rain. I could see no rain here. I could see it being clear skies.
I mean, with that weather forecast, like, I think it might happen.
Yeah, I might have to slip a 20 to the weatherman to make that one come true, but we'll see. Alright, is there any like special text we think can come out? I think pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I think 'cause if something you can do, we obviously highlight this Gastrodon as a problem for Onesie. Arcaludon looks like a Mon that you'd want to wall with the Gastrodon, and that Mon does get Solar Beam. So you could run Power Herb Solar Beam to bait out the Gastrodon and kill it that way. Free up, like, your Zapdos to click electric moves, for example. I definitely could see that happening, for example.
Yeah, definitely. Not really sure too much else can really happen. The Kyurem, I guess, could be Scale Shot or DD with special moves, just to get that speed boost, because it is like so relatively slow into this team.
Yeah, the only thing with Skill Shot would obviously be the Arcaludon as well. If it switches in with the stamina, you get too many hits. And
Bro is going to the moon. He's actually going to the moon.
He's going to the moon.
Yeah.
Nah, but I think speed boosting on Kyurem is definitely a solid bring.
Yeah.
Other than that, I could maybe see sub from the right Urshifu, the dark one. I think that could be a ring. Obviously, if the Whimsicott comes into check, you get up a sub, it can't encore you, it has to break sub, and then you can get a free poison jab on it, which could be nice. And then you can still do your Wicked Blow and Sucker Punch shenanigans later in the game anyway, whilst easily taking out the check.
Yeah, I don't know if I really see the vision there on that one. Because what are you safely subbing on? I don't think there's really anything. It's just the ease prediction, right? And at the cost of 25%, I don't feel like that's worth it when you can just Wicked Blow. It's like very free. I guess what I'm thinking more is like protective pads. If you're gonna, or not pads, punching glove. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're running that, then Wicked Blow is just absolutely a free click every time. Because you're mostly fearing the Zapdos static. I feel like that's the main roadblock for Urshifu. So getting rid of that like option is definitely pretty cool. I don't know.
For sure, I do think Punching Glove is very good, but I do think you can get a sub up on DR Colodon, for example, and the Clodsire. I don't think the Clodsire is breaking a sub very easily, and I think DR Colodon probably doesn't want to take like a close combat to the face, so...
Yeah. Probably just ease prediction then, yeah. The Ogerpon typing, did we talk about that? Because this guy can be any type.
Yeah, this guy can be any type. I think we both kind of alluded to the fact that we think water's the best one here.
Yeah, I think water
I could
or
see grass as well, but yep.
The thing I like about grass is, you know, it's just the strong Ivy Cudgel being grass. I feel like if Corviknight is left at home, that's definitely a nice thing to have, as well as just knock U-turn and being able to hold an item, and maybe get spikes up. If you wanted to run Rock's Clod plus Spikes Ogerpon, I feel like it's an excellent utility mon here. Whereas if you wanted to bring the water Urshifu, not Urshifu, the water Ogerpon, then that can be more of an offensive threat. You know, with like SD low kick maybe to kill the Kyurem.
Low kick would definitely be good, yeah. I think maybe just 4 attacks could be good. Just stabs, low kick, U-turn for the Shaman as well.
Yeah, Shaman's the major roadblock for that guy.
Yeah. Something you might have to watch out for though is to clicking Cudgel could be a little tough since in theory the opponent would have 2 water absorbers with the Trace Gardevoir as well, tracing water absorb. But I don't think that's like a big issue.
Yeah. Yeah, Guard is pretty nice here, just being insurance for the Swift Swimmers with the Trace.
Yeah. I do think we both like Scarf the most. You do have to get some predictions right though, because Moonblasting into this Clodsire and letting it get up free hazard just not ideal, I will say.
Yeah. I just think Scarf is just so nice to have as like a revenge killing option. Yeah, and it allows you to run Modest. So I feel like that's probably worth it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the matchup.
Yeah, I don't have much more either. I think it'll be a very interesting game that you should definitely watch. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the coaches approach this one, because there is some options here.
Yeah.
Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.